Shout out to that awkward camera angle though. Nah. Hey guys, what's going on? This is NGS and welcome back to VEDA. VEDA stands for Vlog Every Day in April and we are on day numero 28. Well, and it's actually 11:28 right now. If I can get this thing to focus on the phone. Oh God, I failed in life. So for today's episode of VEDA, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how YouTube has affected my personal life. And I also want to give you guys some tips and tricks to succeed in the YouTube game, if you will. This is a question that I've talked about before, and I touch on it every year or so because I always have new things to say about it. So this is going to be the updated 2015 edition of this one. The last time I recall I talked about this was in my Q&A video that I did in 2013, if I remember correctly. So first and foremost, what has YouTube really done for me as a person? I know a lot of people when they get on here and they talk about YouTube, they talk about how it's given them the opportunity to travel to many different places. It's helped them a lot financially. And while that's well and good and it's great depending on who you're talking to, for me the most important thing that I've gotten out of YouTube is that I've grown as a person. And what I mean I say I've grown as a person is I've generally gotten to know myself better in the past 2 years that I've been doing YouTube than I have for the majority of my life. When I came into YouTube, I was going through puberty, as I'm sure you guys have seen in some of my older videos when I had that really high voice and everything. And my voice is still to an extent kind of high, but you can definitely tell it's deepened since the days of 2008. In that time, I think what really separated me from I guess all the other people who weren't really doing YouTube is that with YouTube, me not really being the most outgoing person in the world, granted, I know how to interact in social gatherings and such, but as a person who likes to keep to himself for the most part, a person who prides himself on playing video games, reading manga, doing a lot of crazy stuff that you really don't need to go out and socialize for, as much of a recluse hermit that sounds, I definitely got to know myself because I was spending a lot of time with myself. No, but in all seriousness, when I was doing these YouTube videos, for the most part, I would just throw on the camera, I would just talk about things that really interested me. And as I was playing the videos back in my throwback to 2007, 2008 Windows Movie Maker, I would start to see things about myself that normally I would not catch on a daily basis. I started noticing that I was stuttering more often than not, little nuances and intricacies that I would do that really kind of irritated me for the most part. Granted, everybody's gonna get annoyed with themselves when they play back the video constantly. If you're doing this for years, you can of course learn to hate yourself. But there were things that I knew that I could improve because I noticed how they affected the way I spoke to certain people. So as I got to, I guess, hone my craft on YouTube, being able to formulate and create interesting dialogue, if you will, I learned a lot about public speaking, and public speaking is something that I really do like doing. It's something that I really do enjoy. Whenever there's a debate in class in high school, I would definitely make sure to get up there and give it my all, and focusing a lot on the presentation side of yourself, because that's the one thing that in life you really have to do. You have to sell yourself, because yes, what people see is how they will judge you, but more often than not, when they actually hear you and see what you actually are all about, that's where it plays just an equal amount of role as far as appearance goes. So that was one thing I really focused on. I focused on stuttering less ums and guys and everything. And as I'm sure you can tell in my videos now, I still do that from time to time. Granted, because that's something I've been experimenting on. I've been doing a lot of off-the-cuff video. I've been doing a lot of less edits, if you will. I haven't really been focusing on just cutting every single little minute thing out, because while that's great and everything, to an extent you also do want to be able to speak like this on a daily basis. You want to be able to, formulate these sentences off the top of your head and keep the conversation going, as opposed to just stuttering for 5 minutes straight and people not really knowing what you're talking about. You want to be able to quickly think on the spot. And that's something that YouTube really helped me, because I was getting to know myself. I was getting to know the weaknesses in my public speaking and how I can improve upon them, and how they would help my social life, how they would help my work life, how they would help interacting with people on a day-to-day basis. You know, it's a lot more than just the way you speak. It has a lot to do internally as well. So that was the one thing that YouTube really helped me. It helped me get out of my shell by focusing on all of the issues that I had with myself that I never really noticed. And I'm forever grateful to the fact that I was able to get on here on camera and talk to you guys for multiple years. And at the same time, I was growing as a person, because not only was I learning new things about myself, I was also learning amazing things from people around the world. That's another great benefit of the internet. When you're on here and talking to so many different people from different walks of life, cultures, religions, genders, you form a bond with them, you form a relationship. And as you get to know certain people, you learn that while their lives may be totally different from yours, you share similarities with them that can actually be as close as blood. And that's something that I'm forever grateful for. I've learned that there are so many amazing people in the world that don't happen to be across the street. They don't happen to be the same town. They could be from Chicago, they could be from Nebraska, they could be from Texas, they could be from California, they could be from Australia, Melbourne, Japan, Tokyo, you know, just all these crazy places. The United Kingdom, France, Switzerland, Germany, the Netherlands. There are so many awesome people that I formed connections with from all over the world, from different walks of life. And you start to notice that while things are very different in the way they handle things, we're all the same at the end of the day. We all are human. We have a certain way of doing things. And especially with the culture that we enjoy, we like a lot of things like anime, manga, video games, movies, music. There's just something that brings us all together, and we all have a similar mindset, if you will. So that was insanely awesome, being able to see those people and being able to meet up with those people is just an experience unlike any other. It's just so surreal when I hear people say that online friendships and relationships are not real, they don't hold any weight. When you realize that these people you're talking to on a daily basis, you Skype with them on a daily basis, you get to know new things about them on a daily basis. These relationships are important to me, as real people in the world are, because I spend so much time with them. And it's not just we share similar interests and we talk every now and then. No, I'm getting to know the real side of this person, not just the screen name. And the best feeling in the world, honestly, is when you finally get to meet that person and you just continue from where you left off in that conversation. It's just so easy to pick up from there. There's no awkward like, yeah, hey, I just met you and this is crazy, but we're socially awkward and I guess we can only communicate through text. There was nothing like that. From meeting fantastic people all the way in the United Kingdom, when Ness Mudkip came over, we just clicked instantly and we turned what was honestly a bad situation into a very good one. Suffice it to say, we met up on New Year's, and me being the stupid person I am, the majority of places on New Year's Day tend to be closed, considering most people are like, you know. So we took that situation and we made the best out of it. We were able to combine our similar interests together and say, hey, you know what? All the things that we love doing over the internet, you know, let's just do that in the real and see how it is. And it was a fantastic experience. When I went to Texas to visit Dante 86, there was just so much stuff going on that we really couldn't keep track of everything. We had a list, we had plans of what we were going to do on each and every day. And when we got to the final day, we were just like, dude, we didn't do half the stuff on this list, but at the same time, we did so much more and it was awesome. You know, forming bonds with people like those are the type of people that I love to hang out with on a day-to-day basis. And it just goes for more than just their screen name. It goes for more than just, hey, you know, we have similar interests, we're cool like that. No, these are people who I would consider family. These are people who know things about me and I know things about them in turn. So for all the people out there who are saying all these relationships don't matter, no, get to know the person and get to know what they're going through before you claim that. yes, I think things like catfish and all the online predators going on there and online gaming and certain things like that have ruined the perception of online relationships, but at the same time, take out the online part and there's still relationships. A lot of people complain that there aren't too many people in the real who they can associate with. There aren't too many people who they can really call their own. But when they actually see somebody online who's just like them, who literally knows them down to a T, they don't really care much about them. Granted, you have to get to know that person before you say something like they're your family or they're your blood, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. So that was the best part of the YouTube experience that I've gained. It wasn't just the fact that I was able to travel to certain places. It wasn't just the fact that I've gained a monetary income from YouTube. It was that I grew as a person, and at the same time I'm able to meet so many amazing people to help me along my journey throughout life. And I think this is the best time than anything. It's such a different contrast from meeting somebody when you're in your 30s and your 40s than it is when you meet them when you're 15 years old. When you meet them when you're 15 years old and they're around a similar age, you grow with them and you go through things with them, and things get hard and things get tough and you might not be able to hear from them for months on end, but when you get back together with them, you reconnect, you see them sign on to Facebook or Skype or they post a tweet, it's just back like it is in the old school days. So moving away from that, I want to focus on, I guess, what people will consider the YouTube fame side of things. Has that affected me as a person? I know a lot of people out there are either tired of their YouTube fame when they get to a certain point, when they have people constantly asking them questions, when they have people constantly coming up to them when they're at a convention. A lot of people can get tired of that, as any celebrity would. But me, ask any person who knows me on Skype, knows me on PSN, Xbox Live, anything. I am down to chill with anybody, and you will know this. Like literally, when it comes to meetups, if you are in the NYC area, if you are in the Northeast area and there's something big going on, by all means. My Facebook account is facebook.com/NeoGamespark. My Twitter is twitter.com/NeoGamespark. If you want to chill and hang out at that big event, I am all for it. Feel free to hit me up and we'll get a group of people together and we'll have fun. Because that's what I do. Because if I get to know you and I think you're really cool, I think that we're going to have fun in the real at a convention like Comic-Con or Anime Expo or, whatever convention goes around, public social gathering that isn't Sakura Matsuri. Because I think my friend Tom put it best. We were just walking around and looking at pretty shit. There was not much to do there. But then again, it's a botanical garden, so what are you gonna do? However, I will say this though. While a lot of people know that I'm so open, I'm able to interact with people, I'll answer random Skype calls and questions and stuff, at the same time, I am human. So I'm not going to realistically get to everybody. So if there are times where I'm replying to somebody and then you might not hear back from me for a couple of days, rest assured, I will still reply, but just filtering through a lot of things in addition to dealing with the real world things, it's just common sense, it's just common sense. So I'm never really ignoring a person. If I see you comment something, you want to know what I'm thinking about, then yes, I will reply to your comment, your tweet, your Facebook post. But at the end of the day, I am only human and there's only so much that I could do. The one thing I will have to say though, for those people out there who are trying to get the attention of one of their favorite icons or stuff, do not, and I mean do not spam them constantly. Do not spam their inbox, their Twitter feed, anything like that, because that is an easy way to put somebody off. Yes, there is a fine line between admiration and wanting to get to know the person. However, you can't just sit there and spam them saying, hey, how you doing, because that is really not going to get their attention. That is honestly going to lead them to ignore you entirely or block you, and then you're wondering what happened. So don't do that to a person. Just hit them up every now and then and maybe they'll get back to you. That's the best advice I could give. But in the whole real world side of things, as far as meeting fans and subscribers go, I've met a lot of them for the most part. And whenever I go to a convention like Comic-Con, I get recognized by a couple of people saying, hey, are you Neo Gamespark? And I'm like, yeah man, what's up? And you just go over there, dap them, saying what's good. when I go to Nintendo World, every once in a while I have a person come up to me and we'll start a conversation and they'll be like, hey, you look kind of familiar. Are you this guy? You do YouTube videos and stuff? I mean, it happens, and I'm just so grateful that people actually appreciate the content I put on YouTube to the point where they just want to come up to me in person and say, what's up? And it's not just in places of interest like Nintendo World or Comic-Con that I've gotten recognized. Man, I've gotten recognized at about almost every job I've been at. When I first started working at my first job, which was when I was at like the prime of my YouTube stuff, there was this dude out there who was probably, you know, finishing up college, you know, early 20s and stuff, and I was ringing him out. And he says, you know, man, this is gonna sound weird, but you kind of look familiar. I watched this dude on YouTube who does these videos on Naruto and Kingdom Hearts, and you look exactly like him. And if somebody thinks it's me, this is a common trait. If somebody thinks it's me, but they don't want to say it because they'll consider it's weird, I'll be like, really? Yeah, wow, that's interesting, man. And it's not just me trying to hide it. I will so fuck with this person so much. Like, yeah, man, that's cool. Yeah, I heard Naruto. It's a great shit. It's a great popular. I can't even say that anymore. Kingdom Hearts is an awesome franchise. But man, if ever I see a person and they come up to me as work, I say, hey, what's up? How you doing? Let me ring you up. So it's just something that I find hilarious that there are people who, you don't even have to do anything at a certain place and they find you and it's like, what up, man? Man, I think the weirdest thing I ever got recognized when I was grocery shopping, I was at ShopRite and a dude came up to me and he's just like, hey man. I'm like, what's up, dude? And he's like, so when you put out that iCarly rant though, I fucking lost it in the grocery store. I was literally on the floor, cracking up. It was just insane, dude, because this dude comes up here and he's so sure of himself that it's me, and he just says that. So as far as meeting people out in public go, I'm all for it. I do take pictures with some people. I'm not really big on the whole autographing thing because I have horrible penmanship. I mean, every single time I sign something, it's just a little bit different than the standard one. But it's just something that I love doing, interacting with people, meeting up. I'm going to be doing a meetup for the Dragon Ball Z movie, Revival of Frieza Resurrection F. So if you are in the NYC area, keep a lookout because I'm going to be posting on my Facebook and Twitter which theater I'm going to be going to and on what day if they do multiple showings of it. But it's going to be a big thing. It's not just we're just going to show up at the event and everything. No, I'm talking about we all get together, we go out and get some motherfucking food and we just all chill, get a couple drinks in us, and then we just go watch the movie. Like, that is my premier idea of chilling before going to see a really anticipated movie, just going and doing that. So if you're in the area and you're down to do that, keep a lookout for my Facebook and Twitter. Once they announce the official release dates for Fukatsu no F in the States, I gotta used to saying Resurrection F, but Fukatsu no F just has a, you know, rolls off the tongue easier. Now moving on to the tips and tricks for people who want to start a successful YouTube channel, if you will. The first thing I gotta say, for those of you guys out there who want to get into YouTube, you like what you're seeing in anime reviewers or video game commentators playing multiplayer sessions, the first thing I have to say is, and this is what is really gonna help you succeed more than anything, more than advanced video editing tricks, how to gain more subscribers by doing video upload frequencies and all this weird metric stuff. The best thing I can say and how you're going to build a strong, lasting subscriber base is to be yourself. And I just got a text message from Dante86, and that is funny because we talk about that a lot, being yourself. Being yourself is the most important thing that you can ever do in life, because when you are on the YouTubes, right, and you're doing videos, you don't want to be something you're not. You don't want to put on a charade and then when people actually see the real you, it's like a complete 180 contrast. There's something to be said about creating characters for online entertainment, being a bit more funny and raunchy, what have you, and then in person you're a bit more reserved. That's all well and good, but if you're a person out there who is just trying to leech off of a popular YouTube star, you're copying their style right down to the T, what incentive is there for people to watch your content over their content? You know, that's the biggest problem when it comes to copycats nowadays. Sure, you can gain some recognition by leeching off a popular person, but at the end of the day, what happens when you can't leech off their content anymore? What happens if they go into a direction that's completely different from yours? What happens when they just stop doing it entirely, which we've seen in the past? The copycats kind of try to create their own stuff, and more often than not, it does not work because they don't have a craft that they can call themselves. They never honed it. They just succeeded in being a copycat of somebody. So that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to get on here and just be like somebody else, right down to a T. Sure, you could be inspired by somebody and the way they make videos and, you know, the way they say certain things. That's all well and good. Inspiration is everywhere. However, you don't want to sit here and just be a complete copycat because you're not going to gain an audience like that. Not one that actually values your opinion over theirs. What sense is there in being the copycat who gets their review out 1 minute earlier than the other dude? You know, it makes no sense overall. So don't do that. Be yourself, and I promise you, in the grand scheme of things, you will feel better about yourself, number one. You will find people who like your content, number two. And the most important thing, number three, is you will find people that stick with you till the very end. Because it's those who stay with you when you're at your lowest. Those are the ones who continue to support you overall till you become great. Those are the people you have to focus on. The subscribers who are always there for you, always commenting on your videos, always watching them, always tweeting them out and everything. Don't focus on, you know, trying to get the subs off of somebody else onto your channel. Focus on forming bonds and friendships with those who genuinely like and support your content. That's the most important thing you can do. The second tip I want to give to somebody is, when you're creating videos, do not be afraid to experiment. Do not be afraid to go off the beaten path and do something completely different. That's the best thing about YouTube. YouTube is, it gives you the opportunity to show off your finished product, and you can have the community judge it. You can have different people with different levels of experiences and different tastes and cultures. You can have them judge your content. And if some people out there feel a certain way about your material, they'll let you know in the comment section. Constructive criticism is one of the best things out there. So value those who actually take the time to, you know, say, hey, you know, I like your video, but here's some things you can improve. And don't take all criticism as people not liking you. That's not true. Because more often than not, if someone actually takes the time to write out a paragraph comment about what they liked about your video and what they didn't like about them, that says a lot more than a troll just saying, you suck, you're gay, faggot, go die. You have to learn to filter that stuff out. And that's another thing. Learn to grow thick skin because you're going to need it. On the internet, there are going to be people who don't like you for whatever reason. There are going to be people out there who just look at you, hear the way you talk, see the way you dress, and they're going to be like, I don't like that person, and I do not know why. It's inevitable in life, so you might as well prepare for it on the internet, because when you have anonymity, a lot more people are more inclined to say things that they wouldn't normally say on a regular basis. So when they have this screen name that nobody knows anything about, they are going to say something to you that could be really hurtful to you. And you want to learn to not take that. You want to learn to take it at face value as is, consider it a troll, because that's all it is at the end of the day. I'm sure that every person who started a YouTube channel knows the pain when it comes to those comments of people saying, you're gay, you suck, go die. And it does hurt to an extent when you first start out, because you're reading this as, oh my God, somebody actually thinks I'm gay when I'm really not. They think I suck when I really don't. They think that I should burn in hell when I don't think I should. Please, do not listen to that stuff. Do not, because it's not going to benefit you in the long run. You don't want to lose sleep over sheep. Alright, that's the best thing I can say as far as growing thick skin goes. Learn to take construction criticism appropriately and learn to filter out all the negativity and all the BS that comes with it. And the final tip that I can give to the person when they're doing the YouTube thing is to just do it. Just get on there and do it. Stop worrying about all this other metric stuff that you're gonna do. What is my upload frequency going to be? Should I upload Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays? Should I upload before 7 a.m., after 7 a.m., winter solstice? Oh my God, should I do this when D Rose actually gets back to playing a good game? You know, a lot of people stress the things that don't matter in life, when people just need to go and do it. Because if you're stressing all this stuff, contemplating about starting a YouTube channel and, you know, what am I gonna do? What are you accomplishing? You're not accomplishing anything because you haven't put out a video yet. So you just need to get on there and start talking. And then from there, all that stuff comes later. sometimes you do have to run before you walk, and in this case it's especially true. You got to get out there, start recording, put some feelers out there and see what people like, and then from there you hone your craft. You start off with your iPhone 6 camera, and that's great and everything, but then you upgrade to a pocket camcorder so you can save your battery on your phone, because Lord knows iPhone batteries are shit. I know, I've owned 2 of them. And then from there you upgrade to a DSLR. And then from there you're buying new lenses and improving the video quality side of things. And then you want to get a bit more fancy with your editing, so you move from something like iMovie to Sony Vegas. And then you move from Sony Vegas to Adobe Premiere. And a bunch of crazy stuff. You start experimenting with title effects and voice modification, and you have a microphone that you're now going to use for better quality, and before you know it, you're doing crazy, crazy things that you never would have expected in your wildest dreams. But you would have never gotten to that point if you were just sitting here and worrying about, man, maybe I need to do this, maybe I need to do that, blah, 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 blah. You're not helping yourself. You just need to get out there and do it, and then after that, you can plan all that stuff accordingly. Once you've put your feet on the ground, that is when you can start focusing on the metrics behind YouTube, the behind the scenes stuff. Once you actually realize what you want to do, that is where you can go above and beyond. Because if you don't know what you're doing, and you go out there and you spend all this money on this equipment, and then you realize that YouTube really isn't for me, you're out a couple $1,000s in equipment. So learn to make it a passion. Make sure it's a passion, something you love, and you can see yourself doing as a hobby. Something that is equivalent to gaming, something that is equivalent to reading, something that is equivalent to working out. Make that your passion, and I guarantee you, you are going to succeed, because when you have a passion, you are a lot more inclined to do things that you normally wouldn't do. You are more inclined to put in the amount of effort that you would have thought you never would have put into it. Because when you have a passion and you have a fire that is burning inside you, and it's something you really want, that flame isn't going to go out. And that, guys, was my VEDA video for the day. Those were my tips and tricks for people to succeed in YouTube's, how YouTube's has affected me as a person. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will catch you on tomorrow's VEDA episode. Have a good one.